Happy New Year, everybody. Hey, it's never too early in the year to start talking about some dream cards. I've got a list of my top 5. Curious to hear about yours. Also, if you have not already, if you'd consider subscribing to the channel, that would be great. And let's get right to it. Had a little bit of time to reflect here over the last couple days, and really decided to start thinking about some dream cards. You know, I think everybody probably, whether you've sat down and made a list or not, could be one thing, but everybody probably has a list of cards in mind that, you know, I wouldn't say if money was no object, but if money was less of an object, you'd really like to pick up. And I actually kind of sat down and started thinking, like, you know, there's really 5 cards that I would love to add to my collection. I won't add them all to my collection this year, but 5 cards that I've really been wanting that for one reason or another have kind of slipped through my fingers or have just been unattainable financially in the past. So I have a list, and I'm going to start with the lowest to highest value. So number 5 on the list is the 0304 Lucky 13 LeBron James rookie card number to 500. This is a card that has slipped through my fingers multiple times over the years. It can be had for $400 or $500 if you're willing to be patient and maybe get an 8, like PSA 8. And then the prices from there do go on up. I mean, you could pay, if you want a better grade, you can go up to 2K range, maybe even more. I haven't looked at the super high-end grades lately, but it's not a cheap card. But it's one that, you know, I've put in multiple bids on auctions over the years and missed out. This is one of those cards where it's like, well, you know, I want to put a maximum bid on this card for $450, and then you lose it for $460. Or, you know, okay, this time I'm willing to pay $520, and you lose it for $560, $570. You know, you miss it by $20, $30, $40, whatever. So I've missed out on this card numerous times. It's not super rare. There's 500 of them. This one is a nostalgia card for me. So I got back into collecting in 2007, and I got duped on this card when I first got back into it because they made a version of this that came along with a toy Hummer, the Hummer version. The number to 500 version has Lucky 13 on the front, and they're stamped to 500 on the back. And the Hummer version has the exact same image, and it's also of Ultra, but it's unnumbered and it doesn't have Lucky 13 on the front. But that's 5th on my list. I really want to land one of those. I actually looked at last year's National to try to find one. I actually didn't see any. So they're not exceptionally rare, but they're not all that plentiful either. So they're kind of in between. Number 4 on my list. This one's much easier to find, but is a little more costly. And that's an 86-87 Fleer Michael Jordan rookie sticker in a PSA 9. Great card. I've looked at some 9s in the past. Not all 9s are created equal. For me, one of the most important parts is I want to get a 9 that's got great centering. You know, these will, again, go for $3,000 plus. You know, this is a 3K card. Can go higher. But the centering to me is super important. I don't want qualifiers. You know, there's a lot of them on eBay that'll say like a 9, you know, OC, or a 9 PD, you know, a 9 with a qualifier of off-centered or print defect. I don't want that. I want just a straight 9 PSA with great centering. So that's a card. I've owned a couple of those in the past in BGS 8s, but I've never owned a 9 of any grading company. I would prefer the PSA. I would consider BGS, I guess, if it had great centering. But PSA would probably be the way to go there for me. So that's 4 on my list. 3 is the 2017 Select XRC rookie of Patrick Mahomes. So if you watch some of my previous videos, I'm a big Mahomes fan. I'm not a big Chiefs fan, but I am a big Mahomes fan. I really love watching him play. I think he's a great quarterback. He's one of my all-time favorites. This XRC is just a great card. Basically, we'll run you in a 9. So again, I'd be looking at a PSA 9, you know, in that $3,000 to $4,000 range. I know that prices can vary quite a bit on these cards. So, you know, over time, you know, those values can change, but $3,000 to $4,000 last I looked for a 9. I just think it's a really cool card. I haven't even checked the pop count of this. I just always really liked the card. And if you're not familiar with those, so a 2017 XRC card would come as a redemption in 2017 to be redeemed once they announce the 2018 draft picks. So you can get things like, you know, QB1, QB2, QB3, and those would correspond with, this is the first quarterback taken in this draft, this is the second quarterback taken in draft, third quarterback taken in draft. And those are they're pretty tough to get. I don't remember the exact odds. But long story short, I've always wanted a copy of that card. I think it's a really nice Mahomes rookie. And that is definitely firmly entrenched as number 3 on my list. Again, $3,000 to $4,000. You know, with all the stuff surrounding BGS, I won't say that I won't buy BGS graded cards because I still think I don't know, personally, I really still like their slabs in the sleeves. I know that I'm one of the last people to jump ship on that. But with the turmoil with BGS, it's just hard to put like higher dollar amounts into cards in their slabs. You know, I guess you could look to maybe crack them and get them graded with another company, but for me, PSA would probably be the way to go. Number 2 on my list. This is a really tough one. So 2018 Court Kings. I have the level 1, the level 2, and the level 3 Luka Doncic cards. What I don't have is the level 4, and that is number 2 on my list. It is in that $5,000 range. Since it rarely ever sells, I don't know if that's even an accurate value. I'd have to do more research on it. It's going to be expensive, no matter what. No matter who the grading company is, etc. It's a very, very rare card. I'm not even especially like fond of how the card looks. For me, it's more of like a completion of a run, you know? It's, hey, I've got level 1, 2, and 3. I'd like to get 4. So it's kind of a dream card. Out of this, it's got the second highest value of any card that I've got on the list. But I would probably be really patient with this card because I think over time, you know, I might get a good opportunity to get one far less than $5,000. But that's number 2 on my list based on current values. You might have, you know, one of those services where you can look up what things are going for. Maybe they've sold for quite a bit less. I don't know. I only saw one on the Bay though, and I think they won around 5,000. Number 1 on my list is the 1933 Gaudi Babe Ruth rookie, but I only want number 181. I don't know why. This has been the Ruth rookie that I've always wanted. I've never even considered the others. I mean, sure, if I had like a great trade or something like that, would I trade for a Babe Ruth rookie? Yeah, of course. But I only want the 181. And PSA 1s and 1s of other companies usually start in that $5,000 range, give or take a little. I'd be okay with a 1. I don't want an authentic graded or slab card. I don't want one that's been altered. I don't want one that's authentic. It has to have a numerical grade for me. But I would certainly buy a 1. This has just been an iconic card for me. I've joked with people in the past that, you know, if I was able to acquire one of these, I probably wouldn't buy another baseball card for the rest of my collecting life. It's the pinnacle. It's the only baseball card left that I truly, really want. And if I was able to land one of those, it'd be a dream card. I would love to trade into one. And actually, those back pages kind of served as some inspiration there. I know that a couple years back, he traded for that 52 Mantle. And I know the value of that card is way more than this Ruth. But along those lines, though, I would love to be able to trade into one. You know, trade some of my higher end stuff for it. But the problem becomes, and many of you know this too, it gets hard to unload some of your higher end stuff. You kind of get attached to them. And that's kind of where I'm at. I have enough stuff to trade where I could probably pretty easily trade for one. But I don't really want to get rid of the stuff, you know? My higher end stuff is PC, so I don't really want to trade it, you know? So that's the other case. If that's the case, then the other option is just kind of save up the money and buy one. So that's my top 5 dream card list. What's on yours? Do you have any just like absolute dream cards that you would love to land and either haven't because you've tried to buy them and just missed out, or they're too expensive and you got to hold off for now? So what types of things do you have on your list? That's the question of the day. As always, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, if you consider it, that'd be awesome. And I'll catch you next time.